According to Japanese legend, the first emperor of Japan was Emperor Jimmu back in 660 BC. Even though Jimmu lived for 126 years, very little was recorded in regards to his snacking preferences. However, recently discovered ancient texts say that Jimmu was known to send his soldiers out to collect rare foods, which they would bring back to his chambers, where Jimmu would partake. Scholars have recently deciphered dialogue from these eating sessions. The closest English translation is, "You tried it." Welcome to the Far East edition of You Tried Dat. I'm your host, Nick Novak, with my co-host, Chad Hancock.
How's it going?
And Nick Geiger.
Howdy.
And boys, we're here to try some stuff that none of us have tried before, and our listeners probably haven't tried either. How are you feeling about this?
I'm very excited about some of these. I love Asian food in general. I'm excited about Asian snacks. It's just something different from what we would normally pick up at the grocery store. And I think we could have some real winners here today. But we've said that before, and it's bit us in the ass. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, agreed. I tried to find stuff. Again, these are, if you listen to the last episode, I went to Metsuya, which is a Japanese market near my house. I tried to pick up stuff that I would not be able to find here, and that is different, but also some variety. So yeah, hopefully one of these will become the equivalent of Cool Ranch Doritos for me. That's the bar so far.
Now I have a question. When you went to because these three candies or snacks that we're trying today have no English writing on them at all.
That's correct.
So how did you decide these were the ones that you wanted?
So one of them has a big picture of ice cream on the front. And I like ice cream.
As someone who's lactose intolerant, I can see why you were drawn to that.
Right. So I hope it's not real ice cream. I really don't know.
The other two have no pictures.
Right. So one of them in the aisle, like the description in the aisle said sweetened red bean. So I knew that it was a sweetened red bean. And it was something I would never ordinarily purchase. I was actually just telling Nick before this started, that's the one I'm probably least interested in trying. For whatever reason, it just...
Oh, red beans are delicious.
Okay, well, I hope so.
I mean, I guess I've never eaten a straight red bean, maybe in like red beans and rice or something, but like in an Asian, like sometimes if you go to a Chinese restaurant for a dessert, they'll give you like a little like red bean soup kind of thing, which is really tasty.
Yeah. But the cracker, like I've had seaweed rice crackers before and I liked them, so I'm looking forward to that. And I like crab. I'm guessing that these don't taste like naturally delicious crab, but we'll find out.
So Chad, you are a well-traveled man. You've gone to some Asian countries.
Yes.
And actually have an Asian bride. So you you are a little more...
Wow, that sounds bad.
You're a little more probably schooled in the true Asian food. So what'd you find from traveling to other countries snack-wise?
So in Japan, they have a lot of different Kit Kat flavors that are really interesting, and not all of them are good. The most famous, they have a green tea Kit Kat. That one's alright. I'm not in love with it. But they have, some strawberry ones. They have like a dark chocolate one and some other flavors like that. So that's sort of an interesting thing to try. I like going into also Asian bakeries a lot. So when we were just in South Korea for a layover coming back from our most recent vacation, we had like 8 hours in Seoul. So we went into the city, and it was kind of early in the morning, so not much was open except for this bakery that my wife had found that was like one of the highest rated places on TripAdvisor. And so that's why we were just, all right, high rated bakery, let's go. And we spent, I think, 3 hours just in the bakery. They had so much stuff. It was just this gigantic place. And we just sat there drinking hot chocolate and eating all these different little cakes and baked goods and stuff. And some of them were things that you might get at a bakery here, but a lot of them were stuff I had never seen before, and everything was awesome.
The three of us were raised in our childhood in a totally Midwestern American diet.
Yep.
And probably, I know my dad was just a blue-collar guy. We rarely ate any Asian food at all growing up. Did you guys have any of that when you were a kid, that kind of thing?
Yeah, same thing. We had some Chinese food growing up, but it's like the American Chinese food, the beef and broccoli and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really eat it a lot until I got older. In fact, my grandfather had never eaten it until we took him out when I was like in college. He was probably already like 70 or 80, and he had never had.
And where'd you take him?
A Wisconsin Chinese restaurant. So it was probably pretty authentic. He really liked the Asian wonton macaroni and cheese bowl. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, well, that, and he had also never had Mexican food either. So real quickly, the goofy story was remembered from that is that he went to a Mexican restaurant. Now, I think he liked to kind of pretend he didn't know what stuff was because, like, I don't know how this would actually happen in real life, but he sat down. He didn't know anything on the menu. He didn't recognize anything. And so he saw a waiter walk by with fajitas. So he saw, like, sizzling meat and vegetables. He's like, oh, that looks great. I'll just get that. So he just pointed and literally said, I'll have whatever that was. So they brought it out, and he ate all of the meat and vegetables. And the waiter came by and was like, is there anything else I can get you? And he asked for syrup for the pancakes because he apparently had never seen a tortilla. I don't exactly know how that's possible, but we always used to make fun of him.
That's like something out of a bad sitcom or something.
Right.
Where did he grow up?
Milwaukee. I mean, like,
Okay.
but I mean, I know there was Taco Bells around. I mean, it's not like
Right.
there's no. Also, I like tortillas. They would make really shitty pancakes. They're super thin.
It'd be funny if you found out later that he actually knew what it was the whole time, and he used to go into Taco Bell's with like a Mrs. Butterworth thing and just spread it all over his chalupa.
Yeah. Don't get them started. They'd probably be like, that would sell like hotcakes in Wisconsin. It'd be like the dessert chalupa. But yeah, no. So yeah,
You put syrup on the food just to make him feel better.
I mean, I don't know if this Mexican place had syrup. Probably not.
Classic Mexican food, maple syrup.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a long way of saying no. We weren't really exposed to a lot of culturally adventurous food growing up.
Yeah, I think if you went back in time and said to 10-year-old me, someday your favorite food is going to be Japanese food, I probably would have punched you in the nuts because I would have been like, no, it's clearly just going to be grilled cheese sandwiches and, for the rest of my life, that's all I'm eating.
You felt strongly enough about grilled cheese sandwich that you would punch us in the nuts over it?
I'll fight you over grilled cheese as a 10-year-old.
What if Novak had told you at one point, like when you were an 8 or 10-year-old, and said someday that you would have an Asian bride?
I don't know what I would have done. I would have been like, ooh, cooties.
And then punched him in the nuts.
Touching your own nuts. You heard that. Let's get right into it. And Geiger, you got the list of the translation here, right? Because on the receipt, you had from the store, it says the English names of the food, correct?
Yep. Hold on. I got it right here.
Which one are we starting with? Should we start with...
Start with the seaweed.
Seaweed crackers? That's what I was going to suggest.
So these are...
While you're looking it up, I'll describe the package. It's a small black bag, very nondescript, clear front, and there's maybe half a dozen little seaweed crackers on it. We're actually going to post pictures of some of these snacks to the social media. You can go check them out there.
There's a 60. The only thing I recognize there is 60. You think that's the calories? Is the low calorie promoted as a low calorie snack?
There's a percent after it, so
yeah,
60% of your daily calories per cracker.
I have the name here. It's
I've got it. Yeah,
Maruhiko Gomazuki Seaweed Crackers.
Now I am assuming that's it based on the receipt, just by process of elimination. So I don't actually know. So if any you tried that nation out there can correct us on it, that'd be fine. But let's go with that for now.
These are a bit stickier feeling. Like they kind of feel like mud. It's like a dried mud cake is what it feels like.
Oh, I think that means 60% mud is what these are actually made of.
All right.
I could be wrong.
These are scooped right off the ocean floor.
It's 60% silt and then a little bit of seaweed in it.
They're very crunchy.
Ooh.
Nice and crisp.
I wish we had some ingredients. I can't tell. There's kind of little specks of something in there.
This actually doesn't even have an ingredient list on the package.
So, well, hold on. I have the bigger packet. It came in a big bag with individually wrapped portions.
It just has a skull and crossbones.
Hold on, I will get the bigger bag. You guys crosstalk for a bit.
All right. What was your first bite impression there, Chad?
Well, I thought it tasted pretty good at first bite, and between eating this and it tasting good and Geiger now being gone, I'm in a pretty good mood.
Have you had the straight up seaweed?
I have. They have them at work. Actually, we're going to try them in a future episode. They have like little packets of just little seaweed squares, like thin seaweed squares.
Uh-huh.
And those are really tasty. And I love seaweed like in sushi and stuff. That's always really good. What do you think?
I don't like these as much as I like. I don't love the regular seaweed, but I can tolerate that a bit more than this. I don't know. The first bite felt okay, but the aftertaste is a little off-putting. That might just be seaweed in general.
Welcome back, Geiger.
Hey, quick update. We threw away the package, so I don't know. I'm going to assume I wouldn't recognize most of the ingredients anyway. Yeah, I think there's some sesame seeds in here, or some sort of seed.
Yeah.
There's like a black seed in there. Let's go with mud seed. Yep. And I think there's seaweed, and then there's ocean bottom. I think it says is 60% ocean bottom.
Okay.
From the sea.
And 40% fish jizz.
What's your first impression there, Geiger?
Well, when I first put it in my mouth, I'm like, man, a fish just spunked all over these. I'm like, what got this fish so fucking horny?
Oh, that familiar taste that I eat every day. Fish jizz.
Yeah, it actually prolongs your life. Fish jizz. Sorry, I gotta stop saying fish jizz and eating at the same time. I kind of think I'm kind of with you, Novak. I liked it when I first put it in my mouth. I like rice crackers. I've had seaweed in sushi, and I feel like I've had dried seaweed as part of a rice cracker before. And I like that there's a little like substance to these. It's not all rice cracker. Like the seeds add a little like crunchiness to it. The aftertaste is a little strange. There's like a weird sweetness is the wrong way to put it, but there's like a weird like whatever it is that's making it sticky on the outside, I think is like leaving a weird aftertaste on my tongue. It's not bad. It's different.
All right, let's start making the rounds here. Geiger, why don't you start us off, actually?
You just finished telling us your opinion. Now continue telling us your opinion.
Now you jammed another one in your mouth. So All right, Chad, what do you think?
All right, I need a second to process.
I think these are good. I like the seaweed flavor. They're not as good as regular seaweed squares that I've had. They're not as good as the couple times that I've gone scuba diving and opened up my mask and just ate seaweed directly off the floor of the ocean. But having said that, these are pretty good. I'm going to go with Like Dat.
All right, I'll go next. I feel like they need something, like maybe if I mix them with something else, that would be more to what I feel like their purpose is. I couldn't picture myself eating these straight, and the aftertaste has made me take more than one drink. So fortunately, I'm going to have to go with a dislike that on the opposite end of the spectrum for the seaweed wafer.
All right, Geiger, you've had plenty of time. Shit or get off the pot.
You're putting maple syrup on it, I see.
Yeah, pouring some maple syrup on it. And then I'm shitting. I like these. Wait, shitting is the good one? Or getting off the pot is the good one? I can't tell.
I prefer you get off the pot, then take a shit on the bathroom floor.
I'm not sure that analogy fits here at all, really.
Nope.
So.
Not at all.
All right. I like them. Like I said, the aftertaste is a little weird, but I do like them, and I like the crunch, and I think they are tasty, and I would eat them again. I give them a Like Dat.
So the wrong one here is Novak.
Right.
That's all right. My white Midwestern sensibility is rejecting the seaweed.
You put a little fish semen on a cracker, and you can't handle it.
Maybe it was all the jizz talk you guys had. I don't.
Just got your stomach turning.
You had seaweed crackers before?
We had this conversation while you were gone.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
No,
Check the tape! Yeah, you'll just have to wait and find out what we said when this episode comes out.
It's kind of helpful when you just leave mid-podcast, because then when you listen to it, it's just like hearing something that's new and fresh.
We had seaweed crackers? That sounds great.
The next thing I'm a little worried about, because Geiger had given me the package, and then we mailed them off to Chad, and Chad said, it says keep refrigerated on the back, and they had then been sitting in the corner of my dark room for weeks at a time at that point. So I said, should I bother refrigerating it, and decided not to. So at that point, what's it matter, right?
At this point, you're going to die no matter what. So you might as well die with warm food in your stomach. Or room temp, I guess. Geiger, did you refrigerate these?
I did after you mentioned it, although I will say, again, to make you guys feel better, they were just sitting on a shelf at the store. They were not refrigerated at the actual market. So
maybe they taste, maybe it's not that they're going to go bad. It's just that maybe they taste better cold or something like that.
Right.
Maybe keep refrigerated means something else in Japanese.
That's possible, yes.
I did refrigerate them, and then I was late to the podcast recording because I was digging through my entire cabinets trying to find the third snack. And I tore out, like, you should see upstairs, the kitchen is now a disaster. There are snacks everywhere, and I'm going to have to clean that up later. And so then I texted you guys, I can't find these red beans, and you were like, hey, you're the one that said they should go in the fridge. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm the dumbest person ever.
Yes.
So, when you guys describe the package for us here?
So it is like pink with some Japanese characters on it, and like pink little blossoms of some sort, or trees or something like that. On the back, it does actually do a decent job of describing. It says sweetened red bean right on there. These are Azuki Amanatto Yakumo brand sweetened red bean. Almost no nutrition at all. There's zero fat, zero cholesterol.
I mean, the ingredients are red bean, sugar, and sugar alcohol, and then alcohol. Those are the first four.
Yes. Yeah, these are party snacks.
It's basically a sugar-covered bean.
Yep.
No, there's nothing. The seaweed crackers, I feel like there's some comparisons or some comparables out here, but I can't think of a product like this. It might just be that I don't know about it, but do you guys know anything American-wise that is similar to this?
No. I mean, I'd be curious, Chad, if you've like seen these out, if you've tried I've never even heard of someone eating a bean as a snack like this.
You don't think this is just the equivalent of like buying a bag of peanuts or something?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, I guess it's kind of like jelly beans, I guess. It's sugared, except the jelly beans aren't literal beans.
Oh, no, you know what this is? These feel like raisins or something like that. So I'll bet it's kind of a similar experience to that.
Okay.
The package was tough to open.
Yeah, I had to use scissors.
I just ripped it open like a man. So.
I ripped it open and it flew all over. So
good luck enjoy picking unrefrigerated red beans out of your bed.
They look like raisins and feel like raisins. They've got some give to them.
They don't smell like them. In fact, the bag smell is not great.
I don't know just much of a smell.
They taste exactly like red beans to me, like the red beans that you find in the like Chinese desserts that I mentioned earlier. You have to, the consistency is probably something you're not too used to. But if you can get over that, I think they're pretty good.
It's just really beany. I mean, do you guys eat beans in any regular... What's your highest bean intake, basically?
Huh?
Geiger, you eat a ton of Taco Bell, so it's got to be...
I don't eat that much Taco Bell.
On a scale of 1 to 10 farts, how many beans do you eat a day?
We did just eat baked beans tonight for dinner, and my kids love baked beans. So we have those a decent amount. Baked beans and green beans, we don't really eat green beans that much. I don't eat that many beans, other than refried beans on Taco Bell and other Mexican food, and the occasional baked bean with my children.
Do you put green beans in the category of beans? I know it is technically, but I don't think of it in the same category as like baked beans and red beans and things like that. Do you?
Call this thing called a bean? A bean? What is that? I don't get that at all. No, I mean, I get what you're saying. They're not like the same type of like small round bean-shaped bean. I like kidney beans a lot in chili. I know a lot of people, that's a controversial thing. Like, you're not supposed to put beans in chili. I say, screw that. They're great in chili.
Who says that?
Idiots.
All right.
People that like my highest bean intake. That's what I eat more beans in chili than I do anywhere else.
I think it's a Texas versus like the Texas people are like, you can't put beans in there, but really.
No, fuck Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas sucks balls.
The origin of it is it's an easy way to get like a cheap protein into chili, which in the beginning, chili was just like scraps of stuff that people had that they turned into a stew. So yeah, screw you, Texas. Eat a bean.
We have to eat chili like they did in the 1800s? Is that?
Yeah, who knows? There was a big chili cook-off at our work, and all these guys were getting all upset that people put beans in there. I'm like, all right, guys, you're being stupid. My wife doesn't like beans.
Did you quit?
I threw a pot right in their faces, and I'm fucking out. And next year I made mine with sweetened red beans from Yakumo, whatever this is.
I don't eat beans very much. If I get a burrito, I'll usually actually say no beans. I don't like it in a burrito, especially not black beans or whatever. I find them kind of distracting. But I will eat beans. We go to this place. Have you guys ever had pupusas? It's like a Central American, I think El Salvador. No. There's a pupuseria near us, and it's like a little pancake with like meat cooked into it. Like it might be like pork and cheese cooked into this little like doughy flapjack kind of thing. And that usually comes with like side of rice and beans, which is really good. That'll be about the most beans I ever intake.
Does pupuseria give you diarrhea?
No.
My nickname in high school was Bean.
I thought your nickname was Diarrhea.
No, I was super skinny in high school, how things have changed. I was as skinny as a string bean, so people started calling me Bean.
Oh, that's about as clever as you'd expect from high school.
It was that or they called me Mexican Pancake.
What?
Kidding. Back to
Well, too bad, because now I'm calling you Mexican Pancake for forever.
Fair.
I'll start us off here with the ratings. These are fine. I basically feel like I'm just eating a mouth of sugar. There's not much taste to the bean. And like you said, if the texture of a bean doesn't bother you too much, then beyond that, it's just sugar. So I don't picture myself just pounding these things back. It's almost too sugary. But I could eat them and be fine with it. I'm just going to stick right in the middle with an indifferent to that. Chad?
I ate probably half the bag while we were sitting here talking.
Whoa.
I think these are really good. I'm not going to go as high as Loved At because they're just not in that top tier. I wouldn't put them alongside Reese's Cups or something that's, truly awe-inspiring. So I'm just going to go with the next step down, Like Dat. But I gave a Like Dat to the seaweed things also, but I strongly prefer these to the seaweed things.
Wow, half a bag of these things?
I'm a fat sack of shit. What do you want?
Geiger, don't pretend that you're not glad someone else is eating the whole half a bag.
Yeah.
Chad, you shouldn't be eating that much in this podcast, my friend. Hey, you guys got any leftover Cool Ranch? I'm with Novak. They're not bad. I was dreading this the most of all the things we've eaten so far. I really thought this would taste bad. It didn't. It was fine, but it's nothing. I ate maybe 5 or 6, and I have zero interest in eating the rest. Not because they're bad, just because they don't taste like much. It's just sugar. So I would probably go indifferent to that.
I will admit I held back a little just because I didn't refrigerate them, and so mentally. I had a hard time putting too many in my mouth. So
I wonder how your steaming hot bean compares to our nice cool ones.
They were, yeah. I also left them on this windowsill in the sun, which is a good idea.
Do the neighbors come by like a pie cooling on the windows? Just a bag of stinky sweetened beans.
So that gives us a like and 2 indifferent. So leading the pack here is the sweetened red beans.
I guess I'm the wrong one this time.
But before we get to our third competitor...
No, wait. Leading the pack is the seaweed, because there was 2 likes and an indifferent for the seaweed.
Right.
Okay. I can't do math.
Okay, so the lesson today is we're all dumb.
Right.
And we might be even more dumb after this challenge we have coming up here. So this is going to be our first segment that we've done here on the podcast, and our boy Nick Geiger is going to explain it to you.
Yeah, so we wanted to shake things up and do a couple special segments now and again, and one of them we talked about was You Regretted Dat? So
Great delivery.
Thank you. I've been working on that. Wait till I call the podcast that later when I'm doing the social media hit. So the premise is we're going to try it, and it's not a like, it's not an indifferent, it's not a, how tasty are they? Is it simply, do you regret eating it or not? Flat out.
No. Do you regret eating dat?
Right. Any of D's in your mouth do you regret? So what we have today, and I'm going to try to refer to the receipt, and if I butcher this, I apologize. Kayusun Karaba, I think. Spicy seasoned dried crab husks. So to describe, husks is my own terminology. That's not on the bag. So to explain this, it literally looks like tiny little crabs, like eyeballs, shell, legs, claws, and all. They're dried out. They've been seasoned in some way, and you just pop them in your mouth and crunch them up. It's kind of like mini soft shell crabs, only not deep fried and probably not fresh in any way.
Now, I have a question, because you mailed me this in a Ziploc snack size bag. So,
Yeah.
was it just like a big bulk bin, like they have at, Whole Foods or something like that, or was it an actual package?
It's a big Ziploc. It was like a big vacuum sealed pack. Oh, it was literally a pack just like the red beans were in, only bigger.
Oh, I pictured it, like where they have the scoop where you can like scoop gummy worms and things like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't use like a claw machine to get these out or anything. This is
the claw machine that has a crab claw for it.
Dried crab snack, tamogogani, it says on the back. I don't know what that means. Ingredients. Hey guys, there's dried crab in this. Sugar, starch, sweet corn and sweet potato, soy sauce, mirin, and then a bunch of random stuff.
These are basically about between 1 inch to 2 inches long, depending on the size of the crab. And it really does just look exactly like you picked up a crab that was crawling along the beach and dropped him into a pot and took out his shell. And what worries me more than the actual taste here is that there are some pretty sharp, I have 3 or 4 with some really sharp pinchers pointing out. Do you guys have that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I love crab, and the only thing that I'm worried about is that you said they might be spicy. But other than that, I think these have a potential to be pretty good.
I'm not anticipating these to taste anything like crab, right? Because there's no crab meat in there.
I shouldn't have maybe said spicy either. I don't know. I might have just been inferring that. That was my question, too, is if you guys like crab. I love crab. I love seafood. Chad, I know you do. Novak, I don't. Do you like crab? I don't know.
I would eat it fine. I would not order it, but I'd eat it. So, but I'm not in any way anticipating these to be, as much as they are an actual crab, to taste anything like crab. I don't know.
I mean, when you eat crab, you eat the crab meat. Not that this is. I'm assuming we're just eating empty shells. Although I don't know how they would get the crab meat out. All right.
Well, these crabs are so tiny. There's probably like barely any meat in them to begin with. All right, shall we find out if we regret that?
It is time to regret that or not.
Well, I'm gonna eat a second one, so.
Yeah, I need to try a pincher. No, is any of your crabs still alive? Mine aren't. I'm just kidding.
Actually, I thought it was going to be just like a big crunch, hollow feeling kind of crunch, but
yeah.
You guys could
There's a bunch of stuff inside.
Yeah, I've only full done it. Someone half one of these.
All right, I'll half it off.
Half that shit.
Wait, hold it up.
That looks like guts and stuff.
Oh, that makes me want to eat it less. Less.
Yeah, the inside is not appealing.
The inside is like some white stuff, which I think is the inside of the shell, and some brown stuff, which I gotta be honest, is probably dried crab meat.
You don't think it's like brains or?
It's brains, or it's thoughts and hopes, or something.
Or it's like all the poop that was left in the crab when it was dead.
Could be the crab's dick. I don't know. Is the crab's dick inside or outside? I don't know.
What food do you think your grandpa would mistake these for?
Oh, give me some of those Cheez-Its. Weirdly shaped Cheez-Its. Now, Chad, had you said you had eaten these before?
No, I never had those before.
Okay.
I will say I don't regret that. I think those are all right.
I was pretty sure I was going to regret that. I was regretting even agreeing to do this podcast looking at these, but I did not. I was actually surprised that it wasn't half as bad as I thought. And I'd eat one again. I wouldn't eat a bunch of them, but it was decent enough. So I definitely do not regret that.
I don't regret that. I wouldn't. I'm done. I'm not gonna. I mean, it tastes just like the crab water you get from a crab to me. Like when like you're eating a crab, you crack open a leg. You crack open a leg. You swallow the crab whole, and then as you shit, the shell breaks off, and you get the meat left. That's my crab technique. Yeah. My asshole is ripped asunder. No, it tastes like the water that pours out of the crab leg to me, which sounds really weird. It's a weird way to describe it.
Weird, yeah. What pours out?
I don't regret it though. I do not regret that. So I guess I have failed in my challenge. Is that how we should look at it? If I a challenge and I fail, then I lose, right?
It's not that you failed in the challenge; it's that you failed at life.
Yeah,
you are a failure.
I look at this as bad news because if none of us are regretting, then the next You Regret Dat's going to have to be more severe. Because
We
the
gotta
goal
up
is
the
to
ante.
get a Regret Dat, right? Isn't that kind of what we're shooting for? So
People don't tune in droves to this podcast to hear us love stuff. They want to hear us shit all over these crappy snacks.
I actually ate 4 of these. I actually think these are pretty good. They're not spicy at all.
No, they're not. They're a little sweet, if anything.
Right. All right. So go out and get some dried crab snacks. That's what. Luckily, we have kind of a dessert-themed one for last. And it has a nice picture of what looks like cookies and cream ice cream.
My favorite kind of ice cream.
That
Really?
is definitely 100% my favorite ice cream, too.
Really?
What's your favorite, Geiger?
Mint chocolate chip.
Mint only belongs in toothpaste. Otherwise,
Right.
get it the fuck out of here.
My bad.
These are individually packaged. Package size kind of is about this.
Oh.
Feels like the size of a dinner mint.
Japan must have a surplus of cellophane. Everything is individually wrapped constantly.
On the package, they show a drawing of this candy, and it looks to have some kind of a chocolatey center.
They're harder than I expected from the picture.
Geiger, what's the name of these guys?
These are Tokuno milk cookie and cream. These were easy to identify from the receipt because it said the name of what it was in the thing. These are much harder than I expected. So
so it's sort of like a hard candy.
when you unwrap them, it's like white candy with all kinds of brown specks in it, which I assume are the cookies.
I'm pretty excited about these, actually, now that I look at them.
All right, I'm gonna drop it in the mouth here.
Oh, it's a total hard
I
candy.
didn't know. Yeah, from the picture, I did think I'd be able to bite into it. Since ice cream's so soft and.
Yeah, the picture makes it look like it's almost going to be like a mochi ball or something like that, but...
What's that?
I'm trying to think how to describe it.
What's
It's like an Asian snack where it's like a little kind of, there's a gummy dough on the outside and then usually some filling on the inside, like either peanut butter or maybe like apple or something like that.
Sounds good.
They're delicious. You should try them.
Okay.
So
I should try
we're gonna
them or dat.
have to fill some space here. 'Cause it's going to take us a while to get to the center of these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a ton of flavor yet, but what I taste is decent. Would you describe it as ice cream like?
Yeah, it tastes like vanilla ice.
I kind of would. This sort of tastes like like if you let the ice cream melt a lot, and then there's just sort of that little ice cream milk at the bottom of the bowl. Sort of tastes like that a little bit.
All right, I got mine. I just bit into it. I cracked it in two.
Me too.
And there's something, I can taste the chocolate now in the center.
There's like a soft chocolate in the center, kind of.
Like a chocolate, yeah. It's like almost like M&M chocolate,
That's pretty good.
I like that. Riveting podcast.
Now everybody listen to us suck on this candy.
Well, I work this candy over with my mouth while people listen.
Hey, we could say something riveting at any second. They
That's
can't
true.
tune out.
That's true.
Do you think this was made by the Japanese version of Justin?
Of Justin's peanut butter fame?
Are there
Justin-san?
Are there hippies in Japan?
And if so, do they ride their bicycles while eating these? And how many of them do they eat while they ride their bicycles?
Yeah, I like how we started shitting on Jason. You turned around to me, asshole.
Jason? Who's Jason?
It's Justin. Whatever. The guy made a shitty peanut butter.
Learn the name of the hippies.
Of all the hippies. All of them are Justin. Yeah. I do like the picture on the corner of the package of it's a guy it's this little character with giant eyeballs. It looks hilarious to me. I don't know why.
What's the occasion for these?
Dessert?
I mean, yeah, is it basically an after dinner candy? I mean, just
As opposed to a
eat one
dessert?
of these. You're not going to sit and eat 5 or 6 of them. You're not just going to keep popping these things in your mouth, are you?
Is that how you consume candy? Just eat 6 or 7 of them?
How much of these would you eat? They're prepackaged.
I mean, it's no different than like a Halloween candy. You've got like individually wrapped candy bars. You just open one up whenever you want to eat
Yeah,
it.
but I could eat at least 20 Snickers minis in one sitting.
That's not good either. I don't know. I think I mean, it'd take a while to eat, I guess, is the thing.
If you ever eat like I don't particularly like these, but it's kind of like Werther's Originals, like,
Right.
you know, you just sort of pop them in as like a little snack and then just sort of suck on them. Like something like this is like would be the same occasion, and I'd much rather have these than the Werther's.
So you think grandmas in Japan have these like in their purse?
Yeah, or like you get them in a dentist office or something. Don't they have... Maybe they don't have caramels in a dentist office. That seems really stupid.
You evil fucking dentist who's just trying to ruin your teeth and just...
He just is like, wants you to come back more. This'll give him the cavities.
Do you want bubblegum flavor fluoride, or you just want straight Kool-Aid just flushing it in your mouth?
All right, Geiger, I gave you a chance to start us off before. You weren't ready.
Don't fuck it up!
Oh, man, that's a lot of pressure.
I'm going to let you try.
This is your last chance!
No, these are good. I mean, they taste. I don't know that they taste like cookies and cream ice cream. I think the candy part, or the I should say like the white shell does sort of taste vaguely of like a creamy vanilla flavor, and the center was really good. I thought the center was like really chocolatey. So I would give it a like that. I would eat these. These are good. I think they're tasty.
I always feel like I'm waiting for your rating to not match your description at all.
You know, it was creamy, and I thought the chocolate was really tasty, and overall, it tastes like hot fucking garbage, just like that. So,
That's sort of his like signature at this point.
Right.
Describing one thing and then giving it a different rating.
All right, Chad, what do you think?
I really like these. These are my favorite thing we've done today. But again, I can't put them into that Love Dat pantheon because this is just not a vehicle that I'm just not going to put something in my mouth and suck on it. Well, maybe something.
Jeez. What do you want me to do with that?
Was that how planned ahead was that line?
Look, I've been working on it for 3 weeks.
Right. Shitting grin on your face while you say it.
Yeah, if these were like something that was softer and chewier with pretty much the same flavor, I think I'd probably go up to Love Dat. But instead, I'm just going to go with a really strong Like Dat.
So, you like everything is what you're trying to say. Did you give 3 likes today, didn't you?
Yeah, and I know we said we weren't going to do it, but I would also give the crab snacks a Like Dat.
Oh, man, now we got to rate the crab snacks.
No! What have I done?
All right, I like these. I definitely would. Not many of the snacks, honestly, do I just keep around and munch on them. I'll leave them, for my wife to finish, but I will.
You're gonna hide these from your wife.
I'll probably put these in my car. It's the kind of good thing to just have, on a car ride, or put them at my work or something like that, to kind of hold me over until lunch comes, kind of thing. So I'm going to give it a like that. I like the flavor, chocolate on the side. It's different than anything that you really find around here that I can think of. So that's we're going to go 3 likes here. So a strong showing for the cookie and cream.
It is a good candy to carry around in your car, like especially when you're driving by schools, like if there's little kids around. That's terrible.
Are you going to lure them into the back of your van? What is this?
That's exactly the joke I was making. I'm sorry, Mr. I was going to suck someone's dick joke over there.
I never said that. Stop putting words into my mouth.
Snacking podcast.
I believe it puts this candy in the Welcome Visitor Club, correct?
Yes, it is. I would like to have this in my house with 3 Like Dats, yeah.
Wait. Yeah, what is the Welcome Visitor Club? Is it they got to get a 4 or what?
I think 3 Like Dats.
Yeah, like or above. They got a score.
And we've been on our own rating these, giving them average scores where liked is a 4. So 3 likes, at least 3 likes or loves, and that's a Welcome Visitor Club. So we've got a handful of snacks that have made it. That's going to be the only one today to enter the esteemed Welcome Visitor Club.
This has been our most positive episode. We haven't had anything really. I think you gave 1 dislike, but other than that, everything's been pretty well received. So, way to go, Japan.
That's true. These were maybe on the safer side, too. A bean covered in sugar and an ice cream candy.
A lifeless dead crab. Common snacks.
I don't know if have we talked about this. Is seeing the animal itself, the face, for example, of a fish, the fish's eye, that sort of thing. make you not want to eat the food or change your opinion on it at all?
No. Actually, fish cheek is probably the best part of the fish. My wife and her dad will fight over the fish cheeks, like when we get a fish at a Chinese restaurant. And there's 2 cheeks. I don't know why they're fighting. They could each have one. But but if one of them turns their head and is not looking, the other one will have eaten the cheek. And if I'll get like a crab, some like you get a whole crab, sometimes you see it, or and then sometimes like I will just walk down the street and just see a dog and just take a big bite out of its face. So I don't have a problem with that.
What about, there has to be something, let's say you went to a big pig roast, an old-timey pig roast where they are turning the pig's entire body. Would that sort of thing drive you away, or would you just walk right up to the fire and chomp into its gut?
The second one, for sure. That sounds awesome.
Pig roast is delicious. We had one at my dad's second wedding, and you saw the head, you saw the tail, you saw the feet, everything, and who cares? That thing was delicious. It was also dead by the time they put it over the fire, so that made it better. Like, it wasn't squealing and screaming in pain.
That's what most Wisconsin weddings have.
Right. It's usually one of the guests. How about you, Novak? Does that bother you? It doesn't bother me, especially with seafood. I think that's pretty common, where it kind of like the shrimp or a crab or something. It kind of looks like a lobster just comes, you dump it in the pot alive and pull it out 10 minutes later and eat it.
It doesn't stop me from eating it, but I guess certain things that you're just used to because they're served that way. But there's definitely a line, where I think other countries probably serve things a little differently. But there's definitely a lot, whereas I love hamburger, but if you served it like in an opened cow carcass, then I'd probably have an issue with it. So
it'd also be pretty inefficient.
The more live, the more lifelike features I see the animal, I'd say that does make me a little more weary about things.
I think the one thing I might have, I've seen like dried crickets, and it's just literally, it still looks like a cricket. I guess that's exactly what we just did with the crabs,
Exactly.
Fried crabs. But for some reason, I think the cricket would be kind of harder for me to eat.
I ate ants not too long ago.
Is there any context to that? Or you just...
no. I just
was bored one day.
Yeah, it was like after I finished frying them with a magnifying glass. No. Yeah, we were in Laos and we were taking a tour of this coffee plantation or whatever, and the guy was pointing out on the plant, like, oh, these are the ants that are the problem. Like, they will eat all the leaves or whatever and kill the plant. I don't remember exactly what he was saying. I was only kind of half listening. But anyways, he's like, here's what you do. And he just grabs, like, a handful of ants in a leaf and just smashes them in between his hands, like, rolls them up, and which kills them all. And then he holds his hand out and he's like, you should eat them. They're pretty good. And I'm like, what? He's like, they taste like lemon. And then he just grabbed a handful of them and, like, threw them in his mouth. And so I'm like, all right, fine. So I did that, and they did taste like lemon.
Who was this guy?
This is like random Laotian coffee plantation owner or whatever. He lived like way out in the countryside and stuff.
So for you Tried Dat Nation that's listening, for the record, Chad has eaten ants picked up off the ground, rolled up into a leaf. He has had seaweed crackers. He's eaten red beans for dessert often, but yet had never had a Cheez-It, a Cool Ranch Dorito, or a pinwheel. The fuck? I guess, have you tried Doritos sweetened red bean flavor? Is that one of your favorites?
Doritos dried crab.
Ant-flavored Doritos.
It's just, if these crabs have been coated in Cool Ranch Dorito dust, would you eat them?
I actually think these beans could taste good with the Cool Ranch Dorito. That would make some sense.
Would it?
Not so certain it would, but I would eat anything with that stuff on it. It's delicious.
All right, so our winner here today was the ice cream candy, and it's in the Welcome Visitor Club. So we will be coming back at you next time with 3 new snacks, and we hope to see you then. So, boys, thanks.
Deuces.
See ya.